Hey guys, it's MKxJump here, and in today's video we're going to be finally releasing a PvP tier list for idle heroes. It has been a long time since I released a list, and people have been asking for absolutely ages. So let's go check out what the PvP metagame in idle heroes looks like in March 2020. So, a lot has changed since I released the tier list. Auras have been removed, and more heroes now have become pushed down in relevance due to the release of other heroes such as Unimax. We've had Tara, we've had Carrie, we've got new heroes that haven't been as successful such as Elyvia, and we have fresh off the press Delacium, who is very interesting indeed. And what I've done with this tier list is I've summarised it in a way unlike any tier list I've done before. I have literally gone down to how people are using heroes, why are they relevant, which ones are more relevant than others, and that's been my basis for judging these heroes. So first off, in SS tier, we find the best heroes in the game. We have Carrie, whose energy steal is incredible at the moment. We have Aida, who for the last year has dominated the meta unquestionably. We have Unimax 3000, whose taunt ability and natural tankiness is so devastating. If you don't have one, your team is going to suffer. And then there is Garuda, whose standalone is probably the best damage dealer at the moment. Now, these four heroes represent the main core in every single team that is in the top of Arena at the moment. If you don't have a Carrie, an Aida, a Unimax and a Garuda, your team is going to struggle. Now, at the moment, a lot of people are choosing to run double Garuda or double Carrie, or even triple Carrie to get to a full amount of 6 heroes. But obviously, that's not an option for everybody. So we step down to S tier, where we find the heroes that people are adding to these teams to finish them off and get them to 6 heroes. So the heroes you normally want to put in your team to finish it off are going to be Amuvor, Belrain and Tara, 3 fantastic support heroes that all bring the light and dark aura bonus, which gives you more control immunity, which is fantastic. However, they're not the only options you can go for. In A tier, we find an interesting selection of heroes that are fun, but maybe not the absolute optimal decisions to run. Now, these are more creative and require a little more building to make them work as well as they can be. Synergy is something exceptionally important in idle heroes, and the top 7 heroes are really easy to splash in a team and get away with. Arguably, you don't want to be running any tanky heroes that rely on getting hit if you've got a Unimax on your team, but besides that, synergy is not normally a problem. However, in tier A, we find heroes that are often quite dependent on synergy or can sometimes be shut down a little bit by the heroes above. However, it doesn't mean they're bad. A lot of these heroes you'll see have moved up, some of them have stayed the same, and in A tier we find a really nice mix. So Mihm is a fantastic support hero and damage dealer at the moment with great disruption, so you definitely should maybe consider running him on a team. If you have multiple copies of Mihm, you're going to be doing some cheesy things, and Mihm definitely has a place in lineups in the arena because, of course, you have to have multiple teams, so a Mihm cheese team is just a really cheap and efficient team to have in the interdimensional arena. Moving across, we have Faithblade, whose speed makes him really good right now because he's quick, he's so fast, and you can get him to a point where you're not having to worry about Carrie. He's one of those heroes you can actually get away with him being as fast as he is, and it makes him really interesting, especially with the stun as well. We find Michelle becoming increasingly popular now because she can anchor Carrie. She has fantastic CC, which combos really well with the new artifact, and generally Michelle has surprised a lot of people. She was quite terrible, but now, thanks to how the meta is shifting up, we find Michelle actually having a place as a support hero in a lot of teams because the main heroes for killing and damage dealing are the ones in the top 2 tiers. So if you're needing that little bit of support, Michelle is actually a decent pick because she gives that light and dark aura alongside some really good support. Moving across, we have Gustin, who can remove crippling effects, which makes him fun to use and have a good purpose, but of course he can have his energy stolen by Carrie, which arguably makes him completely useless. Delacium, brand new hero to the game. I've been careful putting him in A tier. We may see him moving up if he's doing some amazing things, but right now it doesn't seem like anyone's rushing into building Delacium, but it doesn't mean he's bad. He definitely has a lot of support, which can enhance a team, which is why we find him in A tier. And then we've got Kroos, who provides fantastic stun. Give him the new artifact, Ruyi, and you may see him doing a lot of stun with his passive. And finally, Nakia, who debilitates backline heroes, reducing their speed, which is exceptionally important. Speed is the god stat, as always, with idle heroes. So if you're a defensive lineup and you want to attack first, you need to slow down the opponent, and that's exactly where Nakia comes in. If we settle down now to the B tier, you'll see a lot of heroes here which were once amazing. Now, annoyingly, the meta has moved in a direction which has made a lot of heroes we used to love less viable. We find heroes that rely on their active skills not as potentially good because Carrie steals energy. We find heroes that get loads of energy, like Dark Arthindol, really not performing as well as she used to because she can get instant killed by Carrie, basically, because Carrie deals more damage to a hero depending on the energy they've lost. That doesn't mean that these heroes are terrible. They're in B tier and not C tier. They're good. They have a purpose and a place, but it's not currently exceptionally viable to run them in an endgame strat. Now, you'll see Emily is probably the flagship hero that hasn't really moved down here. Emily is just the really good above average support hero, so she kind of marks this B tier. But we've got heroes like Dark Arthindol, who we wish was higher, but due to the meta can't perform as well as she used to. Aspen is becoming increasingly less reliable. We have heroes like Penny, again, she's very linear, just focuses on damage, not as reliable as she used to be, can be really good, but in endgame, that's not always the case. We have Horus and Cthugha, who really don't synergize well with Unimax 3000, and you'd arguably rather have a Unimax 3000 on your team, so again, it's difficult to justify these heroes. And then we have Elyvia, who's probably, again, one of these just above-average support heroes. She doesn't do anything amazing, but she's got some interesting abilities which work okay and can enhance the heroes above. Do you want to run her, though? I just... To be fair, she's one of these heroes, she's brand new, and I wouldn't drop my scrolls on her when she came out, and I don't know if I still want to chase her. She's just not that great. I'd rather Delacium over Elyvia, so B tier is where we find her. She's just not pushing into those higher tiers, because A, S, and SS are really the tiers you want to be looking at if you want to make a super competitive 6-hero team at endgame, and these heroes are just dropping down a little bit, and it hurts my heart to put heroes like Horus, Cthugha, and Penny in this tier. I love these heroes. They're really good and really strong, especially for new players, but finally, once we've got to endgame, the meta is so dependent on the heroes we find above that it just becomes really hard to put these heroes in, and as well, they're not light and dark, so they're not providing the fantastic crowd control reduction aura which is so good for light and dark heroes by running them. So you just want as many light and dark heroes on your team as possible, and then just Garuda in there, because Garuda is just so strong. So Garuda and Unimax, and then just light and darks, basically, is what the meta looks like, and sadly, Penny, Horus, and Cthugha don't tick that box. It sucks. I don't make the game. Don't start hating on me, but that's just the way the meta looks like now, and it's sad. If we step down to C, we see Amuvor, Asmodel. They just aren't really doing much at all. Amuvor's just a bursty hero, no control or anything to justify him, so sadly he's only in C tier. Asmodel, what are you doing, mate? You used to be really good, and now he's just not good at all. Reactive heroes are nice, but I'd rather run Horus and Cthugha over an Asmodel. That's the way the meta is right now. That says a lot, because he just doesn't have passive damage, sadly. And then you've got Ormus, really, you're trying to put too much on one hero. As a designated healer, great, but he doesn't do anything else. And in a meta now where you've only got 6 heroes, you really have to be tight with who you choose. His aura bonus isn't fantastic, and he's just providing heal. There are better ways to get heal from heroes that do a lot more than just heal. I don't like it. Almost ain't that great. And Valkyrie, Oberon, again, 2 heroes that used to be really strong, and we just find them dropping down now. Like, they're in this weird, just the best of the worst, really. That's what they are. They are the best of the worst, or the worst of the best. We just find them right in the middle. It's a sad place to be. Sorry, Valkyrie and Oberon. Now, we drop down to the D tier, and this is where we find just the heroes that were once good. The 2018 heroes, basically. They're just average heroes. They don't do anything amazing. We've just got Jahra. Great CC, great burst, too slow. Not great, sadly, in overall. She's just not fantastic. Aidan, brilliant cheese, but you really have to play into that, and it's not viable because you have to really force yourself down the cheese route. Flamestrike relies way too much on burn. Valentino, he's just a CC hero, and heroes that just do one thing, we discussed this with Ormus, heroes that only do one thing aren't that great, and with Purify and the aura now giving so much crowd control immunity, it just makes it really hard to justify Valentino. We have Sia, and Sia's really nice tank, but reactive heroes just aren't doing anything, and she's a little too squishy. Single target burst is questionable in this meta, so it just makes Sia just one of those heroes that just average, really. King Barton, again, reliant on CC in a meta where there isn't too much of it. Sorry, King Barton, you're not as good as you used to be. And very reactive hero, though. It's nice to see him getting hit, but alongside Unimax, that's just irrelevant. And sadly, he can get shut down way too easily, and it makes him a questionable choice for teams. Skerei, nice hero, really, really good hero, but way too slow and way too weak to CC. Nice in PvE, but sadly just too average when it comes to his performance in PvP. We have Rosa, decent support, but that's all he really is, just decent. We have Starlight, potentially great burst, but you really need to cheese into that to get the most out of her because she needs heroes to die, just like Aidan. And when you have to rely on heroes dying, that's already a questionable meta strategy. And then Vesa, one of those heroes that I think she's one of the better ones in this tier, really. That passive to silence is really nice, but she doesn't really offer too much else. Healing, it's okay. Her crit probably comes in too late, and she is really slow, and speed is the most important stat right now, and Vesa's just too slow to be viable. Next, we have the E-tier heroes. We are stepping now into dangerous territory, heroes that just suck. Dasmogue, just no, right? Easily shut down, not a great hero, relies way too much on active skills going off in a meta where there is energy, steel everywhere. No, Dasmogue, this just isn't your time. Corpse Demon and Kameth, lovely CC, but that's all they really give. Maybe a Kameth could be an interesting roguey tech pick for backline Petrify, but at this point, I really wouldn't encourage that kind of playstyle. We get Sigmund, who is brilliant in PvE, but in PvP just fails to deliver. We have Berea, who takes too long to get online. We have Queen, whose crit reduction is really nice, but often is slightly too lackluster to perform really well. And then we have Gru, who is another hero that can reduce opponent's stats, but what else does he do apart from that? Not much. And also, counter synergy with Unimax 3000 makes him a questionable pick. And finally, F tier. Oh, the heroes that you just shouldn't be considering at all. Heartwatcher, okay, fine. Build a Heartwatcher, use her in PvE. She is amazing. Those stacks make damage numbers rocket through the roof. However, that just doesn't work in PvP. Rounds don't last long enough. Heartwatcher's going to get CC'd. There's just too much that is going to make Heartwatcher's abilities not go off in PvP that she just totally sucks. Now we've got Bloodblade. I mean, really, he's not a hero you want to be running. His burst is questionable, his sustain is awkward, and he has bleed, which is one of the worst dots in the game because there's just not much that synergizes with it really well. The only hero that really synergizes with bleed is Cthugha, and arguably you want to be doing a burn team if you're going for Cthugha and really want to go down dot synergy. Just Bloodblade doesn't really see much play and isn't really viable at all past the 10-star meta, really. He's a nice early hero to pick up, but really anything else after that, not great. And finally, we've got Bade, who is the lord of all, the worst hero in the game. Just, when they designed him, it's like, let's make random stats, right? He randomly can do loads of damage, or he does none at all. And it's single target, which makes it even worse. He can't crit, it's just bad. Like, what? They on purposely made him jokeful, I think, because it's Bade. He's the meme hero. He's the hero we love because he's terrible, and he's always been terrible, and he's the worst of the elite heroes. They took him from being the worst hero in the game to just making him the worst elite hero in the game. It's it's bizarre. But there you go. That's the meta as it stands up right now, and this list is probably the list I'm most satisfied with of all the tier lists I've ever made, because I think there is nothing that I'm questioning at all in it. It's really well balanced, I think, the meta right now, and I really love the way things stand up. I mean, sure, okay, you've got your 4 top heroes that make the meta very linear. Teams want to be running Carrie, Aida, Unimax 3000, and Garuda, but it means that there are creative choices in the heroes you run alongside them. It means you can have interesting supports to pull along them. Maybe you want a Delacium and a Nakia to have an interesting speed reduction and fun little package from Delacium there as a little additional few heroes. Maybe you want a Kroos that can stun alongside, or Gustin and Michelle giving some interesting support, or Faithblade. We've seen some really interesting things from as well. In Interdimensional Arena, there are teams that are using Faithblade and doing really well. Like, I love Faithblade at the moment. I think he's really fun. But obviously, it's a light hero. That's a lot of investment, so a lot of people aren't going to have him. And I'm aware Mihm's probably the hero most people have just lying around. And that's a hero you probably just really want to keep around. Amon-Ra, it's a shame to see her dip down. And Belrain, I really love the support she's bringing. I think Belrain's an evergreen hero. I don't think there's ever going to be a time when Belrain is not good. She just makes everyone else better, and they can release new heroes, and Belrain's like, I'll make those new heroes better. So I think Belrain's a really, really safe hero. She's really good across all forms of play, and I really like her. And in Tara, I mean, the ability to shut down passives, like, it's so strong. it's so strong. It's not SS strong, but it definitely puts Tara up there. Like, it's really funny when you shut down a hero that's totally reliant on the team strategy. It's just too good. So yeah, that's the meta as it stands up. I like it a lot. I think the metagame is really simple for people to get into now, because the game, it's just clean. There's not a lot of ums and ahs and questions. It's not circular as it used to be. So yeah, I really like how it holds out, and I hope you guys like it too. I really hope you enjoy the meta. Let me know what your thoughts are below in the comments section. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, why don't you whack a like on it, hit a subscribe if you want to catch more content like this. There will be a PvE tier list coming out soon as well if you want to catch that. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Have a great week. If you want to catch some more content down below, you can find it there. And yeah, guys, cheers for everything. Happy idling.